3.
英国主持人被中国数据吓到。
To China. We lost. The returns just haven't all come in yet. In 2 generations, China has built 500 entire cities from scratch, moved the majority of their huge population from poverty to the middle class, and mostly cornered the market in 5G and pharmaceuticals. Their new Silk Road initiative is the biggest infrastructure project in history. If you want to go anywhere in the world these days, you better have a yen for travel. In China alone, they have 40,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. America has none. Our fastest train is the tram that goes around the zoo. On a national level, we've been having Infrastructure Week every week since 2009. But we never do anything. We see a problem and we ignore it, lie about it, fight about it, endlessly litigate it, sunset clause it, kick it down the road, and then write a bill where a half-assed solution doesn't kick in for 10 years. China sees a problem and they fix it. They build a dam. We debate what to rename it. That's why their airports look like this, and ours look like this. China once put up a 57-story skyscraper in 19 days. They demolished and rebuilt the Sanyuan Bridge in Beijing in 43 hours. We binge watch, they binge build. When COVID hit Wuhan, the city built a quarantine center with 4,000 rooms in 10 days, and they barely had to use it because they quickly arrested the spread of the disease.
7 million cars here in 2017. Japan, 8.35 million. China has put it up. 24.8 million cars they made there. And what's extraordinary is that you can't just buy a car and then use it. You have to apply to a government-run lottery for a registration plate for your car. Now, here's one, okay? In Beijing last year, for every 1,000 people who applied for a registration plate for a car they intended to buy, for every 1,000 who applied, how many do you think actually got one?
500.
200.
600.
300. 3.
3 people.
For every 1,000 people who applied, only 3 actually got a registration plate, were allowed.
China, the Chinese, the way the Chinese think of themselves, what it means to be Chinese, the way they think of what China is not a function of the last 100 years of being a nation state. It is a function of more than 2,000 years of being a civilization, or what I call a civilization state. China is primarily not a nation state. It is primarily a civilization state, and only secondarily a nation state. What am I talking about here? Well, I'm talking about things like Confucian values, very unusual relationship, very unusual, unique, not unusual, unique relationship in many ways between the state and society. Very unusual conception of the family. Social customs like guanxi, ancestral worship, an ideographic language, Chinese food, chopsticks. I mean, all these things are not a function of the last 100 years. Now, here you have an absolutely basic difference between China and Western countries. Western countries are constituted on the basis, fundamentally or predominantly, varies from country to country, but always predominantly on the basis of national identity, on the basis of nation state. China is different. China is first and foremost constituted on the basis of civilization. It has absolutely far-reaching implications. You cannot understand the Chinese state without a concept of Chinese civilization and the civilization state. You cannot understand the Chinese attitude towards race, which in many ways is very different from what predominates in the West, without understanding this notion of Chinese civilization. I mean, the whole evolution of the Han as a concept, as a construct, as a race.
来的时候，我知道中国正在搞那个改革开放，所以我有一点的信心，中国会成功的。我看在历史上，中国人做了很棒的事情，所以我觉得中国人有目的可以实现。但是我真的以为中国实现现代化、改革开放要60、70年，我以为我们都是干活是为了下一代，没想到10几年内 变化这么快。我88年，有些人问我，你这么多年，你有在中国看到很多 change？ 我说都没有看到 change， 没有 change。taxi driver 没有 change， 小店没有 change。change 英语是改变，但是也是零钱的意思。我告诉朋友，这是真的。88年来的时候，人家都没有钱，现在也没有钱，都是用手机，所以现在也没有现金。哇，变化太快了。我很佩服中国一个方面，就是到现在中国是发展这么好、这么快的、这么全面的，但是完全靠经济发展、和平发展。
我爱你轻松气质，我爱你红丽平和，我爱你这是你简直好生人之自然之
world catch up with China's speed. States of America. In the US, if they have a new policy or some new law that they want to put in place, they have to vote on it. And then sometimes maybe the vote doesn't pass and they'll vote again on the same vote. And it just takes ages. And meanwhile, while they're voting, COVID is just running rampant across the US, infecting everyone. Whilst they're still voting on, should we wear masks or not? Should we lock down or not? Should we restrict travel here? Should we have a quarantine? They're still voting on it whilst Rona is destroying US. Sort yourselves out, America. Speed things up. Take a look at China's speed and learn from China. China is just simply quicker at everything. Now, I know that seems like a big statement, but it is true. The track and trace system rolled out quicker. The lockdowns rolled out across the country quicker. They vaccinated their population much quicker. They test their population much quicker.
Jungle.
妈呀！我的天，我感觉太好看，我想哭，没哭的。尽管现在下雨，但是一天天没有冷的感觉。我的心动，不是这么说，兴奋，不是中文这么说，
激动，
激动，真激动。美死了，太干净的那个水，这点水可以不可以喝吗？谁知道？
我感觉是山泉水应该可以。
记得点个关注哦，拜拜。